Hi, it's Bob Goff here, and I'm in my office in San Diego. And what I like about this place, I've just surrounded myself with all my favorite stuff. And it lets me think creatively about what could be, what could we do. One of the things that we came up with one time was this idea of bigger and better. And on November 17th, you guys are going to get to be part of that with World Vision Acts. And the game of bigger and better is you start with a dime or something, a toothpick, and you trade up. You go from neighbor to neighbor and you say, what would you trade up to get this? Like, what do you have of value that I could use to trade to the next person? Richard started out, he's our son, and he started out with a dime and went to the neighbor and he said, hey, we're playing bigger and better. That means that I start with a dime and I do have something you'll trade me that's bigger or better than this. And so the guy, I love it because he leaned over his shoulder and he said to his wife, honey, we're playing bigger and better, because he was part of it too. That's the way love is. It's contagious. And Richard walked away with a mattress or something, and the next time he walked away with a ping pong table and a elk head. And you guys, he started out with a dime and he drove home in a Dodge. How cool is that? But it would have screwed it up if he kept the Dodge. Instead, he went down to the church down the way here and he tossed him the keys and he said, it's all yours. So this World Vision Acts had this idea, what if we do bigger and better with this idea of microfinance? That we start with something small and then you guys riff on it any way you want, all in the key of Jesus, but riff on the idea of starting with something small and how could we do something bigger or better? How could we trade up to? And I've found that with faith too. I start with something small. I just start with the part that's about Jesus. And then I say, and I just don't treat it like a game. I just say, what would be bigger? What would be a better way to know Him? How can I trade up in my faith? And so I felt like I've started out with a dime and you end up with this something bigger and better, something that you couldn't imagine, something that wasn't typical. So I know one of the things you're thinking about is microfinance. How do we do that? And I would say among the things you do, start with something small, encourage people and say, what could we make together? How could we serve other people and not just do stuff for them, but make them feel included? So they start out with a dime and they end up with an unexpected result. And that unexpected result, they think they're going to build a better something, but what they end up doing is they find themselves at the feet of Jesus. And so this idea of bigger, better is to draw people in. Draw people in not only to what they could do and be stakeholders in this, but draw them in towards Jesus. Because when we feel like we're part of something bigger, it's not just agreeing with stuff, it's saying, what's the next thing I'm going to do about it? How am I going to trade up in my life from something that's pretty good to something that'd be terrific? So welcome, you're invited to it. I can't wait to hear the stories of what you come up with, what you find out about not only about yourself, but about Jesus as you play bigger and better together.